Hi, everybody. I'm Art Granoff. Connect with me at referenceastrology.com. Today, I'm going to talk about personal transits, what they are, and why we should care. But first, in April and June, my 4-week course, Picture an Hourglass, where you learn archetypal astrology basics with your chart. There's a video at the end that tells you all about it. So let's get into it, exploring our personal transits. What are personal transits and why should we care? What's their importance, especially for psychonauts? Are they here to assist or bruise us? And how will we recognize and receive them? With archetypal astrology, we consult the birth chart, world transits, and personal transits. We've discussed what are archetypes and why we should care. And we've also discussed what's in the birth chart and why we should care. Both of those videos can be found at Archetypal News Network. World transits show the planetary archetypes with their changing relationships. Short-term inner planet transits show us personal treasures and trials. Long-term outer planet transits are especially valuable for psychonauts. So which outer planet world transits are happening now? Here they are. Hey, on display on one page. We start with Jupiter conjunct Uranus from end of June till June 2024. It's a long transit. Uranus is BPM 4. Change, release from custody, we're born, the new thing. And Jupiter expands that. So Jupiter with Uranus, big breakthrough, big breakthrough. What's it going to be? We've got Uranus trine Pluto. Now here's a transit that lasts 10 years, 2022 to 2032. Uranus again, bringing change, release from mother's body. And Pluto, the death rebirth struggle, trying to get out of mother's body. Uranus with Pluto, you could think of it as freedom with intensity. We had in 1960s, from 1960 to 1972, the 60s. And as I'm fond of saying, men grew their hair and women threw out their bras. And also we had race riots in the US and the Vietnam War going on. Uranus trine Pluto now, freedom with intensity. Also the French Revolution, the late 1790s, a lot of freedom with intensity. We also have Saturn conjunct Neptune just starting at the end of this month. Saturn restricts, and Neptune is imagination. So in one sense, Saturn-Neptune can be a restriction of your imagination. Troubles, can't actualize what you want. Or on the other hand, Saturn can build on your imagination. Then you can actualize your dreams. So Saturn, Neptune, a double-edged sword. Let's see what we can do with it. Uranus sextile Neptune. We see Uranus as BPM 4, release from custody. And we see Neptune as BPM 1, the amniotic universe, just hanging out in the womb, feeling pretty good. So Uranus with Neptune looks like it's pretty nice. We're opening to the transcendent. And Neptune sextile Pluto. Neptune, the amniotic universe, with Pluto, the death rebirth struggle. That sounds tough. Or it could be liberating, exploring personal transits. As planets circle the zodiac, passing through the planets in the birth chart, new things begin. When an orbiting planet reaches a planet in my birth chart within a certain range for a certain amount of time, I have a personal transit. Personal transits supply short and long-term information, serving at my personal archetypal weather report. If sunny, go outside and wear a hat when it's too sunny. If it's raining, maybe don't go sailing unless you're very adventurous. In other words, we start to plan events and journeys archetypally, or one could say, planning according to their guidance. Like a scoop of ice cream resting on my cone, ready for eating. That's a personal transit. Outer planet transits are long, lasting several weeks to several years. For instance, Jupiter transits, several weeks plus. Saturn transits last a year. Uranus, about 3 years. Neptune, 5 years. And Pluto, long term, 6+ years. Psychonauts focus on personal outer planet transits, providing the most impact. What are my transits for upcoming sessions? How do they affect me? Which outer planet personal transits are happening for me now? Let's take a look at my personal outer planet transits, shall we? We're going to look at Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Here we go. For Uranus, I have at the moment a Uranus square Pluto transit. It started in 2022 and it ends in 2025. Okay, I know that Uranus is BPM 4 is freedom, and I know Pluto is BPM 3 intensity. So it's freedom with intensity. Like it's a nice day outside, but it's really cold at the same time. Okay. Two big outer planets combining for a few years there. Okay. I see also that upcoming, right? Starting a couple of months, I've got a Uranus conjunct Jupiter transit for 3 years coming up. That looks pretty good. And if I look here, I notice that I've got Uranus Pluto, right, which ends in 2025. And I've got Uranus Jupiter, which starts in 2024. So for the next year, I, Art Granoff, will have a Uranus Pluto and a Uranus Jupiter conjunction. What that says to me that I'm ready for big breakthroughs and big transformation. That's what it tells me. Neptune transits, my personal Neptune transits. Let's see here. Well, right now, I have a from 2022 through 2027 for 5 years. I have a Neptune sextile Jupiter transit right there. I know Neptune is BPM 1, the amniotic universe, and mystical consciousness. And I know that Jupiter expands and provides success and good fortune to whatever planet it touches. So one could say, with a Neptune sextile Jupiter, you're in for an expanded mystical consciousness, expanded depth, expanded home. That's pretty good. Then upcoming, starting in late in mid 2024 as well, it's Neptune with Mars. Neptune's our imagination and Mars is action. So what am I going to do with it? So where I'm going with this is that for the next few years, I have Neptune, okay, with Jupiter and Mars, expanded will towards the transcendent. That's how I would see it. Or with Neptune being illusion and delusion, okay, it could be an expanded bad time, an expanded delusional time for me. I may start drinking, okay, looking for the transcendent. So I'd be deluded, but maybe I'd get out of it and then I'd be back. Neptune transits, very cool. Here's my Pluto outer planet transits, just to show you a couple of things, if I may. At the moment, I've got a Pluto trine Jupiter transit, okay? Big transformation, successful transformation, okay? Or big trouble, expanded trouble, whichever the case may be, right? You notice also, see over here, from, whoops, shorter here, from 2019 started until, oops, a little more there, right, till 2025. That's a 6-year Pluto transit. Pluto square Mercury. Mercury is our mind, our communicator, and Pluto's intensity, depth, Hades. So with Mercury and Pluto, we get to be Columbo. We're looking under the surface, seeking the prize. Mercury, Pluto, diving under the surface. Good for heavy reading, good for journeying. Good time to go deep with your mind, transform it. That's what I've been doing, I think. Also, inner planet transits. Okay. I'm going in early April for Groff breathwork down in Ojai for a couple of days. So, besides the outer planet transits, I'm looking at my inner planet transits as well. I notice if the breathwork is on the second and third, right around there, okay, well, looking pretty good. The sun with Uranus, with breakthrough, identifying with breakthrough. And the sun is conjunct Venus. Love, beauty, Aphrodite. I'll take it. Then also built in there, if you notice, we've got Venus with Jupiter, expanded love, success with love. So that tells me for these couple of days, second and third, feeling pretty good here. Looking forward to that. Then also, we've got the moon transits for those days. For instance, moon world transits for the second. Where are we here? The second and the third. Got it. Moon with Uranus, moon with Pluto. Okay. And then for my personal transits, personal world transits, I got the moon with Saturn, Neptune, which could be interesting, and the moon with Jupiter, expansion of tenderness. So there's our overview about what are transits, why we want to know about them. A couple more things. One, here's Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung's birth charts. Just like us, they have charts. There they are, Sigmund Freud, born in 1856, and Carl Gustav Jung, born in 1875. So Freud was almost 20 years older than Jung. Generation. In a video, don't get all upset about this yet. In a video, Stan mentions that Jung's moon is conjunct Freud's sun, which is right there. I'll come back to it in a moment. Okay. His moon is the outer ring is Jung, and the inner ring is Freud. So Jung's moon is on Freud's sun. Jung stressed the importance of the unconscious rather than consciousness, the mysterious rather than the known, the mystical rather than the scientific, the creative rather than the productive, and the religious rather than the profane. That's from June Singer. The sun representing my outward personality, my style, and adventure. The moon as an open door to my feelings, emotions relating to my inner world. With Jung's moon on top of Freud's sun. Jung's focused within. Freud's focused out here. Jung's inner experience incompatible with Freud's approach and philosophy. One step further, Stan mentioned when Freud and Jung were having their split up around 1912. Now, here you can get even more confused, but I'll try to help you out. What we have here is the same thing I just showed you, those two charts, Jung and Freud, with the transits around it at the bottom there. So what we see here is in when they were just splitting up in 1912, world transits on the outside, Jung's chart there, Freud's chart there. What we see is Saturn, the principle of no, of halt, of wait, on top of Jung's moon and Freud's sun. Maybe they were getting the message that things were not working, things were ending. And then a year later, we find that Saturn moved over from the moon onto Pluto. So it's a Saturn Pluto, which definitely ended their relationship. And also Pluto on top of Saturn. So it was both ways. Tough stuff. And now, one more thing about me. Hey, May 5th, 1972, on my birthday, I take LSD at the Taj Mahal. Yes, I did. It was a really fun day. That's how I looked at the time. Actually, that's my passport picture from 6, 8 months before that, maybe a year before that. Just 18 years old, just turning 19, having a fun day at the Taj Mahal. There's the world transits for that day, May 5th, 1972. And a couple really stood out to me. For instance, I saw that Uranus was squared to Jupiter. Uranus, breakthrough, Jupiter, expansion of breakthrough. It's pretty good. I noticed that Pluto was on my moon. Okay. Transformation of my inner being, inner person. Yeah. Also, that Pluto was squared to Jupiter. Successful transformation. And for my personal transits, Jupiter opposite Uranus, big breakthroughs, also had Uranus square Uranus, breakthrough on top of breakthroughs. And had Pluto with Jupiter, expanded breakthroughs. Here stands Hourglass, where I got the name of my course, Picture an Hourglass. What we're most interested here is the 4 basic perinatal matrices wrapped with the astrological chart. Moment of birth, exciting news for us. Thanks everybody for joining me today as I talk about what are transits and why do we care. Before I go, here comes the video for Picture an Hourglass, my 4-week course. See you soon.